Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the general daily collective message for Wednesday, August the 10th. The energy is very frustrating. Let me just start by saying that. We got to keep in mind, the energies are very, very intense. We're still in this gateway portal, guys. We have a very hard aspect today with the astrology, with the North Node squaring it up with the Sun. So this really is where we accept some major life lessons. These are some very painful lessons or skipped lessons that we struggled or did not complete in a past life. And so it's this brute force energy coming through for the collective when it comes to addressing, you know, these skipped lessons once and for all. And there's a lot of heavy karmic debt playing out in the energies. And so it is this leveling of the ego is kind of the energy coming through. Whenever there's an opposition with the North Node, this is where we kind of have to make some sacrifices, right? When it comes to the journey, when it comes to our contribution to the world and stepping into something greater, being not so ego driven, right? And so with the North Node in Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio, very fixed energies. We got the Leo and the Aquarius energy taking place with the full moon tomorrow, very fixed energy. I feel those are the most affected axes during this time. Leo and Aquarius, Taurus and Scorpio. So have a look at where they are in your chart. That's likely going to pinpoint the frustrations, the triggering, and where it is you need to submerge yourself into this ego flattening energy. Like we're flattening out the ego's getting zeroed out. And if we don't choose to do this consciously, there will be circumstances coming up one way or another in order to force many to level out the ego. And so with squares to the lunar nodes, it's a lot of heavy karmic debt. It's bringing up a lot of triggering, a lot of frustration. And these painful repeated themes that keep showing up in our life over and over again, that keep being continuously brought up in order to fulfill this karmic lesson. So for me, definitely been a triggering day. This is like take 3. My little peanut, Savannah, threw a huge raging tantrum during the first couple videos that I tried to record, and that led into a deep spiral of energies for myself, of how I've not felt supported on the journey, the lack of support on my parenting journey, the lack of support from my counterpart, the lack of accountability, the lack of responsibility. And so all of this come rushing to the surface again. And so this is why the daily message is kind of getting out a little bit late. And so that's a deep wound for me, right? That family wound, you know, to be a single mother, to do this all by myself, feeling unsupported. And I know it can be a little bit of a distraction sometimes in the background. And so a simmering tension, a simmering anger kind of come to the surface for myself. And I'm not perfect. I still have my own challenges too. And so get ready to face some very painful karmic lessons that need to be addressed this life. And this is all coming from those South Node patterns, right? And so there are gifts and talents in the South Node that we are here to bring over, but in this expanded state of consciousness when we lower the ego. And so I feel get ready to face a situation of some sort where it comes to, you know, what you've been clinging to. When we are being asked to step into our karmic pathway, to step into our North Node, that South Node and all of these subconscious motivations, and right now the South Node in Scorpio, very, very manipulative energy. It can be very manipulative. And so all of those manipulative motivations from the past make us feel like, oh my God, I got to cling to control, even though maybe this person isn't relevant to my path moving forward, or it's not appropriate to my spiritual mission or my spiritual conscious motivations. And so all of this is coming up, and there's likely going to be an unfoldment of something in order for these appropriate changes to take place, especially when it comes to our personal psychology. And so get ready to face frequent conflicts in the energies. And, you know, I woke up, I was having a great morning. I connected with the Divine Feminine in Australia this morning for a couple of hours. and things were going good. And then the second I went to do this daily message, it was like the second I talked about all of these very intense energies, Savvy was triggered, and then it triggered me, and then it was just like a spiral. So we're going to want to pay attention to our triggers, right? Triggers teach us these unhealed aspects of self. So obviously there's still an unhealed wound there from my own journey of feeling unsupported, right? And so with all of these new light code activations coming in, and all of these activations happening right now through our entire cellular body, as our vibration changes and rises, and as our consciousness expands, our reality shifts and changes with these new frequencies, and it can be very triggering. And so you might even find yourself questioning your own authenticities, your spiritual gifts, your talents, your path. I actually was so triggered by Savannah's tantrum. I honestly was like this close to deleting my YouTube channel and deactivating Facebook. And I thought, like, what's the point, right? I feel like it doesn't matter how many steps I take forward, I'm always met with these challenges to bring me back down. And it can be very overwhelming having all of this on my plate, right? And so because of these highly sensitive energies, it is a very highly sensitive time. And I think many are feeling deeply triggered, which is going to lead to some very strong emotional reactions. So be aware, because this energy is bringing unexpected news, unexpected shakeups, or even an event that will likely shock you out of this stuckness, shake you awake. And so what I do want to remind everybody with these intense energies, it is so important to go into the heart space, to meditate, to pray, and to sit in stillness and to understand the triggers, right? I thought about lashing out. I was about ready to text my counterpart and to text my ex-karmic partner and blast them and give them a piece of my mind. And I thought, nope, I don't even want to establish any type of energetic connection there, because is it worth it? These men know exactly what it is they need to do to step it up, to be accountable, and to be authentic. And I think this stuckness is just creating this exhaustion energy for my own journey. And so you might be feeling mild flu-like symptoms with the ascension energies, because as we clear these lower dense energies, it can be very uncomfortable in our physical body. You might be experiencing physical and emotional exhaustion over the coming days. And so always listen to your body and rest when needed. And so I had to take a really big breather before I decided if I was going to come back on and channel the daily energies. And so I sat with it. I went within a little bit. I had a good talk with a close friend of mine that, you know, he's really been a support recently. And I did talk to another divine feminine, and she's like, holy shit, are you triggered? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm triggered, like triggered bad today. And so the energy is very chaotic. We're having to deal with all of these restraints, having to face all of this indecision, and we're all kind of being pushed, right? We're being pushed to break free from these limitations. And so a lot is happening in the mind space is kind of what I feel with this North Node energy. And then we're going to have that full moon tomorrow, and it's going to just really illuminate a lot of stuff. You think Aquarian, it is humanitarian energy, it is social groups. And so a lot is breaking down over the coming weeks, I feel. I do plan on hopefully getting another video out today. My guides have asked me to sit down and channel what came through in meditation, journal, and share with you how to make the most of these gateways. I know in the beginning of my journey, these gateways always triggered me because, you know, we think of it as this magical time. And so many get so frustrated. We go through these gateway portals and it feels like nothing's changed. So I think we're going to talk about that in another video, but we're going to pull some cards, guys. We're going to see what needs to come through for the energies for today. Keep in mind, this is not sign specific, but I will call out any zodiac signs. So we're going to start off today with the Astro Oracle deck, Exploration, the 9th house. So 9th house is all about the higher mind. So exploring these expanded states of consciousness. The 9th house is the higher mind. And so it's like this deep dive into our subconscious mind. and all of our foundations and structures. So Saturn is about, you know, commitment, partnerships, loyalty, our foundations, right? Our structures. And so a re-exploration of the structures we built. Are they solid structures? Restructuring, you know, our foundation. And that does always begin with the restructuring of the programmed beliefs, right? So as the consciousness shifts, the outer world has to shift to reflect that energy. Yeah, and so I think a deep dive as to, you know, what you've created, does it really hold value? Can it really be sustainable? So 6th house too is like, you know, it is career, it is health, it is the mind, the body, and the soul, and really figuring out what's going to be sustainable in these higher states of consciousness with the 9th house energy. So let's see what needs to come through. Introspection, 12th house. That is where we bury the past, right? That is where we meet our karma. This is where we make peace with the past, and this is where big changes take place. So let's talk about my own chart a little bit. So introspection. My 12th house is in Aquarius. So the opposite axis of that would be my 6th house in Leo. So I have my North Node in Leo, which is also in my 6th house. So that puts my South Node of Aquarius in my 12th house. And so when I went through my activation, there was a lot of triggering energy that come up when it comes to my sense of community, my social groups, this core wound of not feeling like I belonged. You know, learning a lot about my past life karma when it comes to always being a part of the bigger whole, learning to step into my own, owning my own voice, learning to make a name for myself. And so we ultimately have to go into the 12th house. And this is where all of the past life baggage kind of resides, is in that 12th house. So right now, if we look at the South Node in Scorpio, I'm not saying that you have a South Node in Scorpio, but when we're burying the past, so you think of Scorpio though, very psychic, very intuitive, really able to go into the depths of the darkness, the mysteries of life, the esoteric, the occult, right? But with it in a South Node pattern, this is somebody that, you know, used their gifts for darkness, right? And now coming into the North Node of the Taurus and grounding a new foundation, using these gifts for the betterment, right? And so I feel right now there's a lot of introspection taking place when it comes to that Chiron aspect. We all have a Chiron wound in our chart. This is a core wound that we are born with, brought over from our past lives. And so my Chiron is in Taurus. And so right now, Chiron is in Aries, which is like a huge self-identity wound. And even though my Chiron is in Taurus, we're still feeling the Chiron in Aries, right? And we also have Jupiter in Aries in retrograde. All of these energies are in retrograde, right? We've got all of the outer planets in retrograde. They'll all be in retrograde on the 24th. Uranus is about to join all of these generational planets going retrograde. And so right now we're breaking down these false beliefs. We're healing all of these generational curses, all of this generational trauma. And so in order to heal it, we do have to go within. We do have to feel it. We can't shift out of that stuck energy without releasing the pent up, built up feelings that so many people are afraid to feel, because it hurts to feel pain, right? But when we can master healing our own inner wound, then we can really step into mastery. And so an activation of that core wound is coming up. So who are we, right? Who am I? What did I come here for? We all reach a point in our life where we question who we are, why we're here. You know, many of us have this deep underlying sense of there's more to life, right? We do have a purpose. And so a big part of our mission and our purpose individually is burying this past karma, right? And healing that inner wound. And so a Chiron in Taurus is like a wound of always being belittled, put down, made fun of, not believed. As a child, it's also like a core wound of not feeling worthy of committed partnerships. You think Taurus, the Hierophant, higher level of commitment. And so we all have a core wound. Many of the people with Taurus North Node that I've been working with recently, like in the mid 30 range, they have a core wound in Gemini. So it's a communication wound, right? Communication wound being brought up. And so look at that. We get the Aquarian energy, collaborate. So a reevaluation of who we've been collaborating with. Is it in alignment with our higher mission? Who do you want to collaborate with moving forward? Because we are entering into the golden age of Aquarius, and it is all about humanitarian efforts. And so this is where we have that North Node activation, and we are being asked to be future oriented, right? And there's that Leo energy, and so that's just so funny. And this is where we make progressions on the journey. This Leo season is huge. So many of us are expanding our thought processes, right? Going through that expansion, Sagittarius. So we have Jupiter in Aries in retrograde, expansion of self. But Jupiter's actual ruler is Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius is like the archer. You think of the archer, who gets arched in the heart? Well, somebody with Cupid's arrow, right? And so Jupiter in the natal chart is also husband and wife energy, right? And so it goes deeper than just sun signs, moon signs, right? And so there's so many aspects that need to be considered in a chart. So I think we're expanding our thinking. Pallas Athena is an asteroid in our natal chart. And I feel like with this like virgin quality to it, right? And so to have that virgin quality, we do have to clear all of this past baggage, right? So, and then we get 10th house. So I love that the 10th house come out with the 12th house in collaboration. This is all flowing beautifully. And so the Leo sun is activating these North Node energies, future orientation. And so if you look at your sun and your North Node, so the sun is who we are, right? That is how people perceive us. The ascendant is also a big part of our personality that people see us as, right? So I'm a Taurus sun, very grounded, very stable. You know, anybody that knows me knows I work hard. I do what it takes to get things done. I don't give up no matter how tough it gets. I just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I've hit some pretty freaking low points on my life's journey many times over. And so the sun, that's who we are, right? The moon is our emotions and how we regulate ourselves, how we connect with people is the moon. And then the ascendant is how a lot of people see us outwardly. And so my Pisces ascendant, I'm like a daydreamer, right? I'm very flighty sometimes. I guess my mom would call it flighty. But like I'm always off in my own little world, right? And I come back down to 3D when I need to because I got responsibilities and Taurus does what they do to get things done, right? And so the Leo energy really is illuminating these North Node qualities right now. And so many find it difficult to leave that comfort zone, right? Because we spent a lot of time mastering that comfort zone. And now we're kind of stepping into this unknown territory, this new territory. So I think we're all collectively being asked to be brave like the lion. Stop being that cowardly lion and face the future. The past does not exist anymore, right? We can't keep going back there. And, you know, that Chiron wound will never, ever fully be healed. It's always there below the surface, and it's always going to get triggered in one way or another, no matter how far advanced you are in the healing journey. But it's how do you stay future-oriented, right? And so I think we're coming into these new collaborations, new soul tribes are coming together in the energies, and we are progressing and journeying forward. And so, you know, many of us are really investigating our shadow selves, investigating our home life. And it is a very dualistic process when we go through this activation, right? And so it is like a battle between the head and the heart. It will feel like this battle between good and evil, right and wrong. And what we learn through this dark investigation is what is true on our heart, what really ignites our flame. And so Gemini, cross-pollinating, right? And we meet many different soulmates on our journey to cross-pollinate, to learn lessons. We might be a teacher for somebody, and then the next person might be a teacher for us, and we don't have to know we're teaching these lessons, right? So I feel right now there is a major activation when it comes to community efforts, our spiritual mission, and digesting maybe the truth of a beloved soul connection that is supposed to be coming to fruition. So it is through the storms that the clarity can come forward. So let's clarify and go a little bit deeper with these energies. And we will look at the introspection and the healing energy. 12th house, so we're burying the past. We are burying the past. So we're going to get 3 cards clarifying this energy, and we'll see what the guides want to talk about. So yeah, introspection about all of our past unwise choices. There's some big changes, and there's a lot being illuminated. Okay. So 5-5, expect some changes. There's going to be some upheaval because that Leo Sun energy is activating this closing of the karma, right? And so many are, you know, playing into all of these negative thought patterns, right? And when we play into these negative thought patterns over and over again, this does manifest into real life challenges. Our thoughts are constantly manifesting and counter manifesting. And so there's always a better way to do something, right? And it doesn't matter how many levels you reach up the ladder, there's always a better way once you reach a certain level. And so looking back at all of our unwise choices, maybe where you've lacked integrity, where you've had questionable motives, maybe where you've been dealing with people who have questionable motives, where you've avoided taking accountability, which has created this deep sense of lack. And so I feel like an epiphany, a wake-up call when it comes to laying a new foundation. We can't lay that new foundation until we consciously choose to release the past betrayals, these past unwise choices, where we've even betrayed ourselves and settled for less than what we've deserved, right? And so if we want to truly end the pain and the suffering, we have to choose to welcome in that relief. We have to choose to look the wound, the pattern in the face, and it takes a lot of deep introspection, a period which, like I like to call, like the dark night of the soul. And so this is where we release this weight, this past life weight, once and for all, and we can stop playing into addictions, because addictions are just a form of masking the pain that we don't want to feel, that we don't want to look at. So addictions can be food, money, materialism, consumerism, drugs, alcohol, sex is an addiction. People can get addicted to people. Anything to not have to go within and spend time alone, right? How many people do you see out there that have a hard time spending time alone? Because when you're alone, you kind of got to look in the mirror. You got to sit with yourself. And you've got no choice but to observe all of these unwise choices, right? And so a very mellow, melancholy energy when it comes to what it is I want to dedicate my path to moving forward. What do you want to be loyal to? We are being asked to be apprehensive and protective with our energy. We do have to be cautious because when we awaken to the spiritual path, all kinds of dark forces can court to us. And so I do feel there is a lot of guardian angel protection watching over the collective as we close out these cycles and release these burdens, right? Also feel another fear coming up is a fear of being alone. I know so many people that I work with in their mid-30s or older are afraid to end a toxic cycle. Well, what if I don't find anybody else? What if I'm alone for the rest of my life? And you know what? There are worse things out there than being alone, like staying in a toxic situationship that's not meant for you, preventing you from finding what it is that's meant for you. And sometimes maybe you will. You'll have to be alone for several years. There are worse things than being alone. It is when we spend that time alone that we really get to know who we are and how we want to build our life. So there's a need to release a long-standing burden. And when we work too hard, when we overwork, when we people please, and when we aren't willing to accept the help that we need, we can create all kinds of health problems in our life due to stress. But I feel releasing fear of abandonment too, and really illuminating why we've repeated these challenges of power struggles, loss, victim mentality, and releasing that once and for all. So let's clarify, collaborate. I love it. We're just going to take the one card. Okay, so really spend some time going within and honoring the extremes of your emotions coming up over the coming days, because there is a fresh start. Things are moving forward. The age of Aquarius is coming, ready or not, here it comes, right? And so there is going to be sudden, unexpected shakeup that will be change for the positive, even though it might not feel positive, to get you to release a situation that I think you've been clinging to. Playing into power struggles and drama. So now we got 555. Expect some powerful changes for sure. So can't keep holding on to a situation, looking at things as black and white. Because when we grip to control and we play into all of these conflicting energies, all of these opposing opinions, all we do is keep recreating this negative manifestation, right? And so what do we need to do to shift? We kind of got to walk away from the drama, right? We got to walk away from the stress, walk away from the drama, and we really got to think, like, where's my self-worth? Where's my self-value? Is drama really worth your peace and your serenity in your life, right? Where do you need to stand up for yourself to come out of this gripping? We can't keep gripping, right? We have to move forward, and it will be painful. The healing part of the journey is painful, and I think many are going into this great sadness for the next level of the healing journey, and we cannot release the past without feeling the past. But I feel this is where we step into a lot of personal growth, and we grow from the challenges, right? And so this is also where we heal all of these misunderstandings, all of these unwise choices on our hearts. And so I feel, get ready to go into the depths of some past pain. Let's clarify the Pallas Athena, the Sagittarius, and the 10th house, because this is our Midhaven, right? And like I said, our Midhaven has a lot to do with our purpose. My Midhaven is in Sag. And so this expansive way of living. Wow. So we get the Hermit with the devil, or the ego. So yeah, to expand, we do have to spend time in meaningful solitude. That's what the Hermit does, goes within and thinks. Virgo, right? Virgo. So this might be a strong message for some Virgo North Node collective out there. What do you need to shine light on in order to step into being that example for others? Because I do feel, you know, many in the collective are coming out of this entrapped illusion, these toxic trauma bonds, these codependent, materialistic, lustful connections, the running, the chasing, the back and forth, the power struggles, the pushing and the pulling. But in order to break those chains, you have to accept responsibility for your part in playing that game with somebody, right? And then you got to consciously choose to make a better choice that will support your spiritual journey, because when we master these lessons and we expand and we step into, you know, our Midhaven, and these challenges, you know, bring all of this wisdom forward, that's when we can step into being that example for others, and maybe even stepping into spiritual mentorship. And it really is a beautiful process of self-discovery, but this is where you have to address your addictions, and you have to address these unhealthy patterns, and where you keep being met with things not turning out in your favor. You can't heal these patterns if you're not willing to look them directly in the face. So why do I keep manifesting what I thought was my wish come true, and it's turned into a freaking nightmare? Why do I keep going towards these magical connections? Maybe it's a matter of addressing why you jump into the next connection without fully releasing the burden of the previous one, right? Like serial relationship people. I'm like, okay, why is this blocking my good fortune? Well, you're not going to get your blessings when you're in something toxic as shit. It will be a block to your blessings, right? So I do feel something has recently come to a dead stop, or is about to come to a dead stop. A situation that's turned into a waking nightmare, because there is no success here. There is no balance. The emotions are all over the place, and it's kind of time to find your determination and your willpower to take those rose-colored glasses off, right? Stop, you know, ignoring the signs. Be willing to make a decision and follow your heart, because we can't keep pretending There's no problems. We can't keep stuffing that issue under the rug. We can't keep ignoring that big elephant in the room. And we can't keep overanalyzing because, like I said, we kind of got to drop into the heart, right? So where do you need to get honest with yourself about, you know, a situation where maybe you received poor counsel? But somebody, you know, I think got themselves entangled in an entrapped situation. They've not wanted to look at this. They've not been honest. They've been deceiving themselves, unwilling to move on. And I do feel it's time for like a relocation. I think this has caused somebody a lot of depression. And it's kind of time to get future oriented. So let's take a look at this future energy, this Leo shine North Node future. Okay, so we got the Ace of Pentacles in reversed, wise counsel, and release on the bottom of the deck. There's a situation here that needs to be released. This could go in many different ways. We get the Death with the Empress in reversed. There's going to be a release, I feel, of a karmic connection, a feminine that doesn't know her worth and doesn't know her value. There's no fertility, there's no growth, there's no abundance. The Empress in reverse does not nurture. She doesn't take care of herself, so how can she take care of anybody else? This could be children leaving the home, a mother losing her children. I hate to say that, but the Empress reversed is not a very good mother, is not nurturing, does not love unconditionally, controls, manipulates. Her love always comes with stipulations, or I did this for you, I told you this, and blah, blah, blah. So there is a need to release a situation that, you know, I feel might cause financial ruin, but it is a block to this good fortune. And so there is going to be an ending with somebody that doesn't know her worth and her value. I also feel this is a message where we all release not knowing our worth and our value. There is, you know, divinely got to change here, the Hierophant. There's that Taurus energy. And so we're coming out of, you know, that Scorpionic South Node. We're not manipulating situations anymore. When we know our worth and our value, we don't need to control anybody. We can give without any expectations, right? And so the death of a very toxic situation, likely a karmic catalyst in order to spark action being taken towards a new beginning. A huge release of somebody that has been holding another back on their spiritual journey. Major transformation taking place. And stepping into unity, right? Stepping into a spiritual union, maybe getting connected with more spiritually minded people within the community, with the collaboration and the Aquarian energy. And pray, ask for those answers. Ask the divine for those answers and trust that they will come in quiet meditation, right? Because I feel we're here to bring these new ideas into the collective. And I feel, you know, somebody is maybe even needing to apologize to somebody that they hurt deeply in the past. Maybe somebody they divorced from in the past, or maybe there was a very painful ending, and I feel somebody wants to come in with an apology of some sort because of this lack of balance, wanting to come in and sweep somebody off their feet. But I feel there's likely a feminine here that's really not even open to that at this point in time. Because I think in the past, somebody come in playing games. Come in romantic and flirty and fickle. Swept her off her feet and then departed towards a very unwise choice. So I think somebody's going to be met with somebody that might slam the door in their face. I'm not sure. But I feel there does need to be a long overdue conversation for a past energy here that's needing to be balanced out. And I think maybe this conversation will bring about some healing. I don't know that it'll bring about a reconciliation because the Queen of Swords reversed is a no answer. But this is where we release these burdens that no longer serve us. And we can't release the burden without facing the burden. And so I feel meditation is going to help with those insights. I do feel mental exhaustion is likely over the coming days. And I feel definitely a revelation, I think, when it comes to fear of commitment coming to the forefront. A lot of fear maybe about giving up independence and stepping into a higher commitment. A lot of people fear stepping into a committed partnership. They think they're going to lose yourself, right? And when we embrace true love with the Lovers, Gemini energy, Pisces, more Taurus, that's not going to be an issue, right? We don't lose ourselves in connections when we're fully rooted in who we are and our self-worth and our self-value. And so there's going to be an unexpected choice in Lovers coming up here, and I feel somebody wants a renewal, a reconciliation, perhaps with a Gemini or a Taurus. I'm not sure, but I feel a big review of the past, coming forward, seeking forgiveness and compassion, knowing it's time to head in a new direction. And this is definitely about life purpose. Heart-centered life purpose. And I feel the recovery of a connection that I think maybe at one point in time there was a lot of magic there and it just didn't get manifest because maybe a bunch of fear kind of crept in. But there is going to be like the rebalancing of a very unjust, unfair situation, an unexpected offer of some sort. Yeah, and that's kind of what I see, guys. So that's what I got for the daily check-in. I really hope this helped. I hope this resonated. Keep an eye out later today for how to harness this gateway energy. I'm going to talk about that. Hopefully it will help with the coming energies with the full moon. I'm going to do the full moon reading, and we'll have that posted first thing in the morning for you guys, and we'll get you the weekend check-in before I take off camping tomorrow night. I'll get it all done for you, I promise. Okay, I hope you all have a good day. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, check out the description box below, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.